Hi! The first build of HeartStrings, a Yandere Story is here! There's a lot to talk about, so I'm going to separate the video in 3 different parts. What has been developed so far, the game's future with a small questions and answers segment, and personal stuff. With this in mind, let's begin. The first build has some basic functionalities. Here's a rundown. You can move with A, W, S, D. You can trigger stress mode with Q, and in that mode, you can murder the female student using the spacebar button or the left button in your mouse. You have a cheat menu using Alt, where you can see the voice dialogue test with a render of Hiroshi, as well as an old voice test line from Hiroshi's BA.
Oh, do you think that changes anything? Look, chum, you know what I know, and I know you're scared shitless. Oh, but why would I? I'm the cute sporty kid, and you're the lonely wolf with a cracked nose. I'm the next rising star, and you're the shit on the side. Look, point is, if I spoke up, I would be believed. Think you wouldn't? I don't think that's so important. You have the looks of a monster. That's my proof. You're not going anywhere.
You have some collision walls, a background, a first-person mode you can enter with F, and a few more stuff you can do. There's a lot to unpack here, so let me explain. The basic movement is the 4-directional movements. The characters themselves are 2D, but move in a 3D environment. Currently, we have an idle and run animations for Fumeko, as well as their bloody counterparts. Fumeko's sprite is quite interesting, because she is not a full piece. Fumeko is separated by face, body, and right arm. The body pieces are separated to have different effects applied to them. For example, we separate the face so we can have a normal and a crazy face, and then we separate the body to have a bloody version and a normal version. This way, we can easily swap between crazy, crazy bloody, normal, bloody normal, and such. This makes the game file weight a lot less in comparison, since we also need other things such as the right arm to be changed in case of holding a cutter as a weapon, the cutter being bloody, etc. This also makes adding weapons to the game a lot easier for us, and makes the game overall have less assets to process. In the case of female student, she has 1 idle, 1 walk-in, and 1 dead status. She is currently only attracted to a single sphere in the map. However, if you trigger a stress mode, she will run and hide to a location far away from you. If you get too close to her again, she will run away to another location to avoid you. While you can spawn more than 1 female student, the game will become more glitchy since we're still testing the pathfinding AI. Unlike Fumeko, female student only has their face and body separated. This is because her face is going to change depending on what's going on around her, but her body will mostly be the same, unless we completely change the animation. Her dead body won't have any animation, but in the future, we are planning on having Fumeko give a piggyback ride to the corpse to transport it from one place to the next. Stress mode is quite an interesting concept, and I'm going to explain a bit more about it in a future video, but overall, it means Fumeko's stress is going high because she did or heard something bad. HeartStrings won't have a reputation system nor a school atmosphere system, mostly because the stress system already punishes the player for being careless. Let me explain. In most Yandere-style games, you have reputation, sanity, and a school atmosphere. While it makes sense and it's cool to see characters become worried about the place they are currently in a gameplay sense, all of these systems only work as a way to punish the player, making the gameplay less enjoyable from my perspective. Not only this, but having those systems means more game development time that I would rather avoid. So, I decided to make a different system that makes the game difficulty higher while still making sense in the story and being more interesting overall. Since I'm a believer that less is more if you know how to apply it. Stress works like this. When you kill someone, Fumeko feels excited and stressed out by adrenaline, so her stress meter goes up by 20%. If Fumeko reaches 40%, her crazy eyes are shown. People around her will notice her acting strangely and they'll just avoid her. If you're bloody or you have crazy eyes, other students will avoid you by walking slightly faster away from you. But if you have both the crazy eyes and you're bloody, students will outright fear you and run away from you even if they haven't seen you kill anyone. Not only this, but Fumeko will hear students talk poorly of her, which makes her stress go up by 5%. Fumeko's stress can never go higher than 50%, because getting a higher stress will trigger true ending. Fumeko is used to adrenaline too, so her stress won't go higher than 50% in a normal run. Right now, we only have 0% stress, which is regular Fumeko, and we have 15% stress, which is bloody, crazy eyes Fumeko. The stress will also work in the future to make activities harder. For example, let's say Fumeko needs to get rid of her bloody clothing by making it in the shape of a ball and throwing it away at a hidden part of the school. This would trigger a minigame, which usually is quite simple in regular mode, but in stress mode, this minigame would become nearly impossible. Like I said, there's a lot more to talk about stress mode, but we need to move on to other things this build contains and not so much the future implementations. In stress mode, you can murder female student, which triggers a killing animation. This animation is supposed to be cruel and funny, and in the future, it will have different variations to make it more original every time you murder a student. We are still designing the sounds for the game, and this one will be muted in this version, but in the future it will have sounds too. The cheat menu allows you to access the dialogue test. These dialogues will be used in the game for small interactions between characters, especially between Kawa and Hisoka Luarca. The test inside the game has dialogue correlating to Hiroshi's voice lines to test how it may look, as well as a fully rendered image of Hiroshi. The dialogue and image are over the gameplay, giving it a more visual novel look. The lines in the current version were test lines. I sent Hiroshi's voice actor to see how he would attempt a Hiroshi voice. But they may not be the final lines, since we still need to test how other voice actors will participate in the scene. The walls have basic collision, and the background is still in the works, and I'd say that's it overall. You can activate first-person vision using F, but this won't be a part of the final game since it mostly works for bug testing. Since this is the first build, there's a lot of bugs and glitches everywhere. In the Discord server, you will find a channel to report bugs. And you can also find the latest game build there as well. I think that's all I have to say for the current first build of the game, so let's go to some questions and answers, made by my lovely companion over here, female student. Let's answer some of them, shall we?
When can we expect more builds?
I don't like to give a specific time for builds, since I'm aware some builds will take longer than others because of assets being made. Ideally, we want to have a build made at the end of every month, but I can't say for certain, and I don't want my team feeling pressure to deliver assets when they themselves have a lot going on in their lives too. I am also going to deliver some assets when I have some free time for my main job, which is YouTube, but as for now, that's the current goal.
How long will the game be in development?
That's too early to say, sadly. A lot of things can go wrong in game development, but ideally, this game should be finished between 3 and 5 years from now at most. Again, too early to say, but I think that's somewhat achievable.
How can I volunteer?
In the Discord server, I will ask every now and then for help, and I'll tag a role in case I need assistance. I don't like to get a bunch of messages at once, since I get very anxious when a lot of people talk to me, so I prefer to be sent friend requests so I can accept them at my own pace.
How many endings will the game have?
A lot, actually, since it's a single rival and a single week. It's a lot easier to make different endings, however, most endings will be like Undertale's neutral endings, meaning they'll mostly have some text and an image describing the ending and that's it. The only real developed ending is True Ending, which will include cutscenes and extra content about the characters. Besides this, you will have a lot of achievements, which will make the game very interesting to play more than one time. And playing the game more than one time will prepare a new player to tackle True Ending. You can get True Ending on your first playthrough, but the game is designed to make you explore the school and the endings as much as you want in order to make True Ending easier for you, since you already know all the game mechanics that will be used for it.
Is the game going to have a male Yandere or a female senpai?
No, it's too many assets. that need to be redone in order to make that. Maybe if the game becomes really popular, we could make a DLC with a gender-per version of the story. But for now, it's not really something we have planned to do.
Mentioning DLCs. Will the game have them?
Ideally, if the game becomes popular enough, we will have DLCs. While the Windows PC version of the game will be free, DLCs are extra content that aren't canon to the main storyline, meaning that you'll have to buy them if you want them. DLCs are planned to be alternative universes to the main story, and as such, they can go from cosmetic changes to entirely new timelines with different places and challenges. You would only have to eliminate your rival, and there would be only a single ending. However, I don't really think too much about DLCs since they can only happen if the game becomes popular enough, so they're not really important for the time being.
Will there be any other ports of the game?
Yes, other ports like Android will have ads, and the Apple Store version will be a paid experience since porting the game takes effort and time. We are not quite sure about a Mac port yet, but we'll have to see in the future.
When will a demo be ready?
That's too early to say, but if we make a demo, it would be the tutorial on the first 2 days of the week. The full experience will be the entire week, and it would take a longer time to be finished.
How many ways to eliminate Kawa will there be?
In violent ways, we are planning quite a few, such as stabbing, drowning, poison, fire, etc. However, in the non-violent options, you only have befriending, which is true ending. Even in the non-violent route, you still need to murder another character, and there's no run in the game where you can eliminate your rival without murdering someone else.
Can you join clubs in the game?
Nope, but you can play minigames around school to lower your stress or practice ways to eliminate corpses. These minigames also will be used in True Ending, and most of them happen in the different clubs of the school, which you don't need to join to experience.
Will you be able to interact with Senpai?
In a normal run, no. Well, you technically can try to talk to him, but Fumeko is not precisely the best at social interactions, and most of the time she will end up making a fool of herself in front of Hisoka, which makes stress go higher even more. But in True Ending, you will spend 2 days interacting with Hisoka and developing a deeper bond with him as a part of the end of the cutscene. Not only this, but the final cutscene of True Ending is a heart-to-heart with Hisoka, which deepens the bond even further.
How many rivals will there be in the game?
Only one, Kawa. However, you will have other side characters which should make the story richer overall.
How will you give credits to volunteers?
Volunteers will be credited in the description of the videos with their work for the current build.
Why did the first build took 3 months?
A lot of things happened after my first video about the game. This is the part of the video that will become more personal. After the first video, a person came to our house and robbed the biggest computer we had. We went out to eat and we suffered an attempted house break-in. After that, we decided to run away as fast as we could and stayed in different places to sleep until my parents could help us go back to my home country. After this very stressful experience, I showed PinkCat the country and we started the paperwork for him to stay with me here. This is a bit confusing to explain, but I am from Chile. PinkCat is from a different country, and we both went to live in a third different country. I hope that makes sense. During January, we were told that the only way he could stay in my country was to either force him to go back to his country, which is a very dangerous place, hence the reason why he left, or we needed to get married. You can guess which one we chose, and I do not regret it at all. I am a very happy married wife. After Christmas and New Year, he became my husband, and we attempted to search for a job in real life, but sadly, we both suffered discrimination. In the case of PinkCat, people wouldn't give him a job, even with a work permission, just because he's an immigrant. And in my case, I'm autistic. And while I did get a few interviews and calls, a lot of them ended quite abruptly after I mentioned my situation. We decided to use my YouTube channel as a way to make money from ad revenue and sponsors, meaning this channel is my job at the moment. We are still searching for a job in real life, but luckily sponsors and ad revenue are enough so we can get away from my parents' house. I don't like to talk too much about this, but my relationship with my family isn't the best one and we prefer to get away from this place as soon as we can because of how much pressure it adds to the both of us. During February, I also began forming the current work team for the game, And organizing a huge group of people to work with you is not really an easy task either, so that took some time as well. Overall, I'd say the effort we put into the project has been giving a lot of results. However, a lot of people have been pressuring me to make the game faster and show progress faster. While I know haters are going to hate no matter what I do, I also saw a lot of people from my own community feeling unsure about the game's progress. Not only this, but after the first build was finished, we noticed a lot of bugs that could have been found faster if we had a build before adding more and more stuff. Even now, the build still has some collision bugs that we want to fix, but all of that will come in due time. So, I decided to show a build containing the current progress of the game. While it still has a long way to go before becoming a demo, I want to reassure you that things are coming together quite nicely. Games take a long time to develop, but with the current basis we have, I think the game is going to be amazing. Please continue to support the videos and, if you can, donate to the coffee. It really helps. YouTube as a job is ruthless, but sharing and supporting always helps. I want to make more videos about the game just to see how well they will do with the algorithm, but for now, I think this is it. Remember to subscribe, hit the like button, drink water, and stay healthy. See ya!